What's up, guys? This is Alec Ingold here with the Las Vegas Raiders, coming to you to talk about overcoming obstacles, your career path. Obviously, we're at the JA Inspire event virtually. I wish we could be in person hanging out, but this is the next best thing. And I got some good stories for you from, making it to the NFL, completing that journey, but then also how you guys can find your own passions, kind of start your own careers, and really have a good mindset to really take over and understanding from the beginning that there's going to be obstacles, there's going to be adversity, there's going to be hoops to jump over, and I'm excited to share some stories along the way. So first, I just want to talk about understanding what you're trying to accomplish and goal setting and writing down a good goal. There's the whole acronym of having a SMART goal, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, relatable, and time measurable. I think that SMART goals are important, right? But at the end of the day, it's not everything. You have to try, especially at this stage in your life. You have to try new things. You have to see what you like and what you don't like, and really just have a mindset or an awareness to say, "Ooh, I might actually do like that thing," or I try something new with my friends, and that seems to really trip my trigger. Maybe I develop a little bit more down that path. And for me personally, it was a moment when I went undrafted and overcoming an obstacle, when I thought football was my thing. I thought that was going to be what I was going to do. And 32 teams told me, "You're not going to be good enough. You're not going to be drafted." That's hard. That's rejection. That's failure. That's a moment of reflection, like, is football really the path for me? And when I had to make the decision of either going into sales, when I had to make the decision of just going into business, stopping football, or to continue on, I had to rely on my friends. I had to rely on my family members. I had to rely on the people that I had communicated with and make sure that support system was okay, where I could then feel comfortable saying, this is my passion. This is what I want to chase. This is what I want to really make a leap of faith on, even if someone's telling me I'm not good enough right now, to get better, to keep practicing, to keep pursuing that passion of mine. And that's what was very interesting for me. That was the moment where I fully committed to football. And having a conversation with my dad on the front porch and him just saying, "Are you ready for this? Are you ready to go take a job? Are you ready to go earn yourself a job?" That got me in a mindset to say, okay, there's going to be more bumps in the road. There's going to be more adversity. There's going to be more obstacles in my path. But if I know that and I'm ready for it, and I'm going to adjust no matter what, because I know this is my passion, this is my calling, I'll be okay. So having someone out there that you can trust, that you can have a good conversation with, that can say, "Are you ready? Let's go." That's really important. And that was my dad. So when you're overcoming obstacles, half the battle is understanding they're going to be there on this path of whatever career path you want to go in. When you're going through this whole event and you're going through business, you're going through marketing, you're going through entrepreneurship, you're going through athletics, maybe the medical field, whatever career path you think is pretty interesting right now, understand there's going to be times when you fail. There's going to be times when people say you're not good enough. And it's at that moment that you say, "You know what, that's okay. I'm going to get better anyways," for yourself. That's when you know it's a passion. That's when you know it's a little bit more interesting. That's when you know you can keep getting better year after year after year. And you don't have to start over with something because you love it. You love doing it and you love chasing it. I think that overcoming obstacles and accepting that they're going to be there is huge. I think this season in the NFL, I was in a contract year. This is my last year with the Raiders. I was voted a team captain. Everything was lining up for me, right? I was able to make a lot of plays early in the season. I was having a great year. And then all of a sudden I tear my ACL and I'm done for the whole season. It's like, man, everything's going well. Everything's going great. I'm making plays. I've been in the league for 3 years now. I'm considered a veteran and a leader on the team. And now I tear my ACL. Now what? How do you adjust? How do you respond to that? And these obstacles, this adversity that was laid at my feet, there was two ways I could go about it. I could blame the grass. I could blame the coaches. I could blame the refs. I could blame the team that we were playing against, the opponent. Or I could listen to this moment. I could listen to what this is trying to teach me. I could listen to all of the lessons that I was about to learn through this injury, because this is the first major injury I've ever had. I can listen, I can internalize, I can take a step back, I can see what my surroundings are like, and I can say, okay, how can I pay this forward? How can I use these lessons that I'm learning and give it to somebody else so that they might be able to overcome their own obstacles a little bit easier next time? So some of the lessons I've learned with this ACL is that routines are very important. Your routine is hugely important, massively important. What time you wake up, what time you eat breakfast, who you hang out with, who you talk with, what you read on Twitter, on social media, what you're doing in the classroom. All of those little things, all those little decisions, they become your habits. They become who you are, whether you realize that or not. And I realized that when I got injured, my routine got shaken up. I show up to the facility at a certain time to practice. I would have to get mentally ready here. And in my routine, it was the same all the time so that I could consistently be a good football player. Your routine as a student might wake up at the same time, get on the bus at the same time, have the same classes every single day, sit next to the same people. All of those are routines that either are aligned with your goals or aren't aligned with your goals. And being able to understand what that routine is doing for you is massively important. If you're an athlete and school ends at 2:30 and you got 30 minutes before practice starts, how are you using that 30 minutes? Are you hanging out with people? Are you talking to teammates? Are you changing, getting ready? Are you stretching? All of those routines, it becomes a habit. It becomes who you are. It becomes habitual actions that repeat itself over and over again. When I tore my ACL, I had to somehow find a way to still be a better football player, right? Because that's my goal. That's the mission. The overarching goal that I wrote down was be the best fullback in the world. How can I be the best fullback in the world if I'm not out on the field? Now I have to mentally train myself. I have to start reading books. I have to start getting into the training room and being diligent with my routine, staying off my feet when I get home, sitting down. All of these things were routines that I had to change, but over the past 2 months of this rehab, now they're becoming my habits. Now I'm becoming a little bit more aware of my body. Now I'm becoming a little bit more aware of how I communicate to teammates, because I might not get as much time as I used to. So when I get 15 seconds or a minute to talk to a teammate, I got to get to the bottom line. I got to let them know how I'm feeling, how they're feeling, and how we can be better football players together. All of those things are massive when you're trying to learn what an adverse situation, what an obstacle is trying to teach you, and then how you can react to it. How can you respond to the situation that's given to you? Another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is a standard. And a standard is a little bit different than a routine, but it's very similar. So when you're, feeling down, when your emotions are tough, when things are just against you, you feel bad, you feel sick, you feel like nothing's worth it anymore, when you feel like this journey that you're on is just, it's tougher, it's not what you signed up for. A standard is something that you hold yourself to when the feelings are bad. When you're having a bad day, how do you respond? How do you act? How do you live your life? Are you the same person? Are you different? A standard is something that never changes. A standard is something that no matter what, when you are going through this J Inspire and you're going to other classrooms or you're trying to figure out where your career path, you're finding that launch pad of something that interests you, understand there's going to be a standard that you are going to be expected to live up to every single day. And that's big because not every day is going to be great. Some days you're going to want to hit that snooze button. Sometimes you won't want to have to travel to go to a sales meeting. Sometimes you won't feel good and don't want to drive to work really early anymore. Sometimes you're going to have an extra cup of coffee because you're just feeling tired that day. The circumstances around you can change, but you can't change your standard. If you have a new boss that maybe you don't vibe with as much anymore, whether you have new teachers coming into class, whether you get accepted into a college or denied from a college, whether you have these moments where things are either going great or they're going bad, you have to have a standard of the way that you show up to work every day. You have to say, my emotions are high, low, indifferent, but the standard has to remain the same. It has to stay right in the middle, right? And I think that's something that will help you be consistent. That's going to help you grow when the times are tough. Jerry Rice is a football player that always talked about his toughest days, when his was the most sore, when he never felt like running. He said those days were the days I had to be the best practice player I possibly could, or I had to put the best performance I possibly could. Because everyone has good days. Everyone's going to perform at a high level when they're feeling great. But when you're feeling bad and your emotions are really dragging you down, when you're feeling hopeless, when you think there's no more you can do, if you make those really, really bad days average or good, think about how much more consistency, how much more momentum you're building towards your goals, towards a career that you can crush. You know, on ACL days, when I tore my ACL, obviously I felt terrible. But this journey it's going to be 6-7 months of rehab, of doing the same things over and over, doing the same activities, having that same routine that I've built for myself. Having a standard, having something that I have to live up to every single day, whether I like it or not, will pay off big dividends on that goal, on that overarching goal, that SMART goal that you set out for yourself in your career. So we talked about overcoming obstacles. We talked about a standard. We talked about your routine. We talked about goal setting and starting and taking advantage of this opportunity at J Inspire. Please, 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 whenever you're going to other booths, whenever you're listening to other people talk, please take a moment to take that opportunity to learn about something you like or maybe you don't like. Figure out stuff that you're interested in or maybe you're not interested in. Regardless of any of those experiences, you can learn something from it. And you can say, this is something that I want a career in, and dig a little bit deeper. Find what you're interested in and go chase it. See if it's a passion. And if it's not, that's okay. But at least you learned something. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for stopping in, clicking this link for an NFL player to talk to you for a little bit. I appreciate the opportunity to spread some knowledge and some stuff about overcoming adversity and understanding it's going to be there. No matter what you do, that's life. And if you can understand that there's going to be tough times and you have some tools to respond to it, to learn from it, and then to pay it forward, you're going to be much better off in whatever career you decide to do. Thanks for coming. This is Alec, Ingold, the Las Vegas Raiders. We'll see you next time. Follow me on socials, and hopefully we can start some careers together and have these Launchpad meetings many more times to come.